Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Davy Crockett. He's in the Blue Ribbon Lounge.
Killed myself a bear when I was only 3.
I could see you doing that, Dave.
Yeah, with a safety pin.
Safety pin.
Yeah, straight from the diaper.
Straight from the diaper. Man, I can't remember when it was my kids stopped using diapers. Started using the big boy toilet.
Yeah? 2.
Two
and
Is
a
it
half.
2? 2. 3. It was around 3.
Around there.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Well, when he lost the safety pin in the bear's eye, then he couldn't wear them anymore.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're potty trained, is when you kill a bear with your safety pin from your diaper.
Yes, and then you're just standing up to pee.
Yeah, from now on, then you pee like a real bear.
I don't.
Oh, maybe that's I don't know much about bear anatomy. But
I don't know. Do they stop or do they just kind of go and just let it fly?
let it fly.
Because I've seen ones where the bears are fighting.
Yeah.
And they're just like shitting while they're fighting other bears.
Yeah, dude, you can't stop.
Well, no, not in the middle of a fight, I guess.
No, God, no.
I mean, if I was fighting a grizzly bear, I'd probably shit too.
Yeah, and the grizzly bear would not stop killing you,
Right.
so it could shit.
But that is the secret, though, is you punch them in the butthole.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Most any animals, if you punch them in the ass, like in the butthole,
Yeah.
or on it, not like shove your whole fist up there, depending on the size of
Although
the
it
animal.
might work. It might
Yeah,
work,
they're
though.
going to stop what they're doing and be like, what?
I've always heard that if a bear fights you, it'll try to break your jaw, so you can't bite it.
Oh.
That's fucking
So you got
tough.
to duck. Bob and weave.
Yeah, you know it's going for the easy knockout. So.
Yeah. I did see a thing where a guy fought a bear and he was
Was this one of those trained circus bears, or?
no, he was just out in the woods and he was like a Golden Gloves kind of guy.
Okay.
And he was like, I know that bears are right-handed, so it's probably going to make a swipe with its right. So then I feigned and then came in and punched it. Like, yeah, he like got a couple hits on it. But then I think it's the same guy. Like later on, he was telling the story and had a hat on. And the reason he had his hat on is because his whole head was like filleted open and he was keeping it together while he was doing like a video while walking to go get help.
Oh God. There was Mike Tyson tried to fight a bear.
Oh,
In
really?
a zoo.
I could see that.
Yeah, he tried to pay him like $10,000 to let him fight this bear in a zoo.
Uh,
Is what I heard.
Oh, I thought the rumor was a silverback gorilla.
Oh, maybe it was a gorilla. I think I'd rather fight a bear.
Yeah.
A gorilla is just a little bit too human.
Yeah, and they can
They can.
it will like rip you apart.
Yeah.
You would think. Like
They have
chimpanzees.
thumbs.
Yeah.
Thumbs are a lot in a fight, I think.
Opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
That helps a lot, yeah.
Yeah. How was your weekend, Dave? Enough of this bear talk.
Some bear talk.
I can't bear it anymore.
Can't bear it. It was pretty good. Hung out with my kid. We went to Iron and Grain coffee shop.
Heard of it. Where's that at? Is that in the Rust Belt area?
I think there's 2. I think
Okay.
there's one in the Rust Belt area, and there's one over by St. Ambrose
Okay.
and Palmer, like
Okay.
on Main Street
So
right
you were
there.
probably in the Iowa one.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's neat. It was like in an old bank.
That sounds
So
cool.
in the back, they have the vault. I guess you can rent out as like a party area.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was decent. And
Did you have food there or something?
no, they just had coffee. I think they have food, but first time there, they didn't really have a menu that we could see. When we were leaving, we noticed like these old ladies staring at the wall off to the right at a little sheet of paper, and I'm like, oh, is that the menu? Like, because it was not readily available.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that, like, if something's not readily available, like me and the wife go to a lot of thrift stores, estate sales, flea markets. If your shit isn't priced, I'm not going to buy anything from you.
Right. Well, because we were just standing there, and the guy's like, what do you want? And
Hey, what do you want?
well, they have a thing, and it's like specialty latte. It's like a sign, but it doesn't say what.
It's like soup, salad,
Yeah,
sandwiches.
breadsticks. Yeah, like I'll take a soup. Like what kind?
One
Yeah.
soup, please.
But my kid was like specialty latte, and then he asked her like a bunch of questions, and she's like, yeah.
Me and my wife went to the Iron and Grain over by the Rust Belt.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe it was Iron and Grain. That was 2 weeks ago during the Rod and Custom.
Oh, okay.
But well, when this comes out, it'll be like 4 weeks ago. But time travel.
Yes.
But I remember the coffee being really good. I always get an adult chocolate milk, so
yeah, I got an Americano.
yeah, wait, that's your go-to, right?
Yeah.
And then we had sandwiches from there as well,
Oh,
and they were pretty good.
I didn't have a sandwich.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving the listeners my opinion on their
Okay.
food.
Well, there was pretty good sandwiches. It was like a breakfast sandwich.
It was, I believe it was a breakfast sandwich. No, you know what? It was a lunch sandwich. It was like a sort of club type thing.
Oh, but it's bacon.
Yeah. You know what? I went and it was like turkey, ham, and bacon. And they were like, hey, we don't have any ham. Can we just double up on that bacon? And I'm like, well, this both comes from a pig, so I don't see why not.
Right. It works.
And it was a pretty good sandwich. They didn't put tomatoes on a sandwich that I asked for no tomatoes. That's usually all I ask for.
No tomatoes?
Yeah.
I
Although,
like tomatoes are good.
well, why don't you get the fuck out of here, Dave?
Fuck you and your tomatoes.
Fucking acid fruit.
Yeah.
There was one time I went to a McDonald's in Clinton. We were coming back from a show or maybe we were going on vacation or something. We stopped at a McDonald's in Clinton and I was like, hey, can I get a chicken sandwich with no tomatoes? And I opened up the bun and it was just a tomato.
No chicken.
No chicken, nothing. Just buns and a tomato.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm never going there again.
No, that sounds like a Clinton thing to do.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. No, and then after that, we went to the Putnam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They remodeled. It's
Okay.
way different.
Just like down here in the Blue Ribbon Lounge, we just remodeled.
Oh, it is kind of like that because their Egyptian basement area.
It has been like that since I was in school.
Yeah, it's all different now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I couldn't either. I'm like, they took out all the, like, Asian stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's all, like, open and, like...
Was it worse?
Yeah, I mean, it made it more modern and better use of the space, but I liked how it was like in the basement, tucked away, the spooky corner,
Like a pyramid.
yeah,
right?
like a crypt.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it took the fun out of it. But it's also changed, and you have to be like, you have to embrace it sometimes, and sometimes you have to be like, this sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could embrace the suck, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it could either get better or worse or stay the same. And
Right, and I know they're trying to change it up because it has been the same since like forever.
yeah, at least 20 years.
Yeah, so because like the entrance is where all the taxidermied animals are now.
Oh,
Yeah, so you walk in there, and where like the Finding Nemo area was,
okay.
that's all a gift shop,
Okay.
and then they still have the prairie lands and stuff, but then. Yeah, you walk out the door, and then when you go downstairs, it's all open because on the other side is like comes up to a hallway in the main area. It's all different.
Yeah, I'll have to go there.
Yeah.
I always liked the Putnam.
Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't have a bad time.
And I do regret not going. Just recently, they had like a motorcycle thing there.
That's still there.
Oh, it's still there?
Yeah,
I'm trying to try to go then.
yeah, it's neat. I mean, if you're a motorcycle guy,
Yeah. Not necessarily a motorcycle guy, but I like looking at them.
yeah, they had a lot of old timey ones and sidecars and
Yeah.
kind of quirky things.
And arguably, you can just go to Savannah and check that out. If you've ever been to the Iron Horse in Savannah,
No,
it's a motorcycle bar, and they have
Okay.
like the oldest bar, and it's like 3 stories, and on the staircase going up, it's like the bar is on the first floor, and it's like a super old, long bar. Everything's wood behind it and shit, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
They have a big metal horse in there, Iron Horse.
Gotcha. I've heard the name before.
And then they have like a spiral staircase with a couple of landings. Not a spiral staircase, but like it kind of goes around in a short amount of area. But they have hella old motorcycles, just tons of motorcycles in there.
Packed in there.
Yeah. And at the very top is like a fucking church looking place.
Yeah.
It's got like pews and like a fucking where you'd get married at or something.
Yeah.
I just imagine fucking bikers getting married up there and fucking
probably
driving motorcycles up the stairs and shit. Fucking throwing glass bottles at the wall.
Yeah.
That might be a stereotype. I don't know.
Probably back in the day. I don't think a lot of motorcycle guys are like that anymore.
Yeah.
With all the weekend warrior motorcycles.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That would be me if I was a motorcycler.
Yeah, you're like, let's go to Weeblers.
Let's go to Weeblers.
Or, it's not Weeblers anymore.
Is it not?
No.
Everything's changing around me, Dave.
Yeah. It's like McGrath's, I think.
I think McGrath's is a different place.
I think they bought
they bought it.
Yeah.
I could see that. Because I think McGrath's used to be a car place.
Yeah. Yeah, the used car superstore. I think they bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they bought it. But Brenny's is still there.
Okay. Brenny's
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah. He's like probably if I could be like Quad Cities famous, I'd want to be Brenny's famous.
Yeah, good commercial famous.
Yeah.
He's always got good commercials. And he like continues to reuse the old commercials.
Yeah. But it works.
Yeah, hey. I know the name.
Yeah, and when I worked I probably shouldn't say that, but when my old job, he would come in a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Every so often, and he always seemed like a pretty decent guy.
Okay. And I imagine their old commercial was like across from Alcoa, almost.
Yeah.
And I imagine they just like overdubbed somebody else's voice, like across from Arconic, almost.
I'm trying to think. The last time I heard a Britney's commercial, it was like, and now time for a retro Britney's commercial. So then, yeah, it's like an old one.
Yeah.
And I don't watch regular TV.
Yeah.
So I
That's
haven't
for
seen
squares.
him, dressed up on a motorcycle.
As Santa or a lady.
Yes, depends on which one.
Depends on the season.
Yes.
Damn, all this talking, Dave. I'm getting
Yeah,
a
are you
dry
parched?
mouth.
Yeah. So we got, I think this is an IPA, is what the guy said.
You were talking to people? Okay, so we went into shout out to Central Store, had a ton of small town beers.
Yes. Microbreweries.
Microbrews. I had
Yes.
heard good things about it from some people, and we needed a beer for today, so I hit you up about it.
Yeah.
Kind of on the way home, what'd you think about stopping there?
It wasn't bad. It's like a super bodega.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like, to me, it looked like if the Blue Ribbon Lounge was a convenience store, like just held together enough.
Yes. And yeah, just held it. That's a good way to explain it.
Just enough to figure it out and get what you need.
Right. And it didn't look super shady.
Yeah, no.
So
White walls.
white walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have like,
All the lights were on.
yes. Well, because I've been in some bodegas where it's like, these chips are from the 50s. Yeah, where all the shelves, nobody actually buys the stuff on the shelves. They just get beer and cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how is this beef jerky? Like, I went to one time and I got candy and the lady kept like beeping it in, but then looking at the expiration date and she's like, go get another one. And I went through the whole box and she's like, these are old. I'm like, I just want Reese's Pieces. I don't care.
I don't think there's anything in here that'll kill me.
Right?
Also, what are you going to do with all those expired Reese's Pieces, lady?
I know. She's probably going to take them home to her kids or something.
10 for one?
Yes.
Hook a brother up?
Exactly.
Oh, so we stopped at that Central Store. in Moline.
Yes. Right
And-
by the LeClaire apartment.
Yes,
Complex.
LeClaire building.
Yeah.
Ford Studios. If he's kind of QC famous, he's taken a lot of pictures of metal bands and stuff.
Okay.
He's taking a lot of good pictures of like I think like when Pantera comes around here and shit like that.
Oh, like he might be like the Mark guy.
I think just for certain bands.
Okay.
And I think he does travel and stuff like that. But I think we've talked about him before, but Josh Ford of Ford Photography has taken pictures of like Elvis Presley's revolvers that
Yeah, his pistols.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And that's what I think about it when I think about him. But
Okay.
but he's a cool guy too, and does really good art.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what I'm judging on photography. It looks like the shit he's taking pictures of, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, while you were wandering around in the employee
Arguably
section,
looking for you. So I turned around once and Dave was gone.
just went over to look at the beers. But really, yeah, I didn't have a plan. I was just looking for one that the 4-pack was intact.
There was a lot of non-intact 4-packs.
Yes, or just like one with that plastic thing on it. So-
Yeah. So I turn around, Dave's gone, and I start wandering around. I find some stuff. I go to talk to Dave to see what he wants to get. He's already purchased a 4-pack of beer, and it's like halfway out the door, and I'm like, Dave!
I'm just hanging out. I'm like waiting because I knew you were in the employee section of the cooler.
That wasn't the employee section.
Well, there was a door. It didn't say employees only, but
Right. It said walk-in cooler. You can find larger cases in here and stuff.
Okay.
And that's why I walked in and I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Because like you said, all those beers were like half pulled out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be in here. And I came out, couldn't find you.
That's how the front of the case was too.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of Lucy's.
Lucy's.
So I picked this.
I wonder if you can also buy single cigarettes.
Ooh, maybe.
Next time we'll have to get
That's my kind of bodega.
2 single beers and 2 loose cigarettes.
Oh, yeah. So I got this Hornet's Bite from Riverlands Brewing Company from St. Charles, Illinois.
Ooh.
Yes, the can says it's brewed with pride, enjoy the bride. And this is an American Indian Pale Ale, which shouldn't that
Did
be...
you say American Indian?
Yeah, shouldn't that be Native American?
I think
And-
it's American India.
Oh. Told you I can't read. American Indian Pale Ale. Oh. It's brewed with Nelson Salvin and Mosaic hops.
Very specific on this can.
Yeah, and it even tells you that it was designed by R.L. Ness.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's a picture of like the tail fin of a hornet, like the jet on like a sunset going through here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And this is a 6%er, almost 7%.
Yeah, 6.8. Oh my god, we're gonna get ripped, Dave.
Jeez, I know. What
I thought this is a really good looking can. Of all the cans we've had, this is probably the most professional.
yeah, for like a
The label and shit.
microbrew. Well, wakes are pretty neat.
They're pretty good. I don't think they go quite as high.
Oh, they are like the just half or
Yeah,
about the half.
they go just around the ridge
Yeah.
or the flat portion. I was trying to learn a little bit more about beers and stuff. I was watching some guy who maybe makes labels for beers, and he was talking about the barcode should be vertical as opposed to horizontal, which it is. It is vertical here.
Yeah.
Because it's a round surface. But I guess the beer he was reviewing at the time was horizontal, which he was upset about.
Oh, that probably makes it harder to beep because it's a circle. Never thought about that. All right.
Crack them open. Oh, I was twisting mine around too much. It's starting to overflow.
Well, it's not that bitter.
No, it's not bitter, but it's got like that bite to it, that hoppy bite.
Is that hops? Does hops taste kind of citrusy then?
Maybe. I guess I should know that before I start throwing words around.
Because, well, when you were talking about the international bittering units last time,
Yeah.
were you saying it's the hops is what makes it bitter? or
Yes.
okay,
I think the amount.
the amount. But see,
Also, I mean, it could be type.
could be. But since this is that American IPA, I wonder if it's less hoppy.
I would say this is. I don't know if I've ever had another American IPA, but this definitely doesn't taste as hoppy as other IPAs I've had.
Yeah. And I kind of got this one because I didn't really see that it was like the tail wing of a jet.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe it'd be like a honey kind of.
Because of Hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah. The art on it is pretty cool, though.
Yeah. And the guy, when I got it, he said, good choice. He's like, for a smaller brewery, I really like their IPAs.
Oh, I like
So-
that. We'll have to maybe ask him some other questions next time.
Yeah. He seemed like a,
Knowledgeable character.
yeah, personable. Because the guy before me in line, they were chatting up about liquor.
A personable NPC.
Yes.
Don't mind it. Wouldn't buy it again.
No. And if for some reason I did, I would just break one off the 4-pack.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just one of those.
I don't think we've been rating the beers lately.
No, I don't think season 2 we've been doing that.
Are we done? Are we over that?
I mean, it's all subjective,
Yeah.
really.
I give it an 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually judge my beers, like, especially after leaving here, if I have one or two left over, I'll drink them while I'm making dinner.
You're gonna say while driving home.
Yeah, you got to get them finished before you hit the bridge. That's the challenge.
that's quick for
Yeah.
drinking 2 tall cans.
Yeah, 2 pints. Hell yeah. That's like a 5th. But this one is I would not want it to get warm because then the sourness would go up.
Yeah, and that Central store had a lot of beers that were warm out there.
Yeah, just sitting out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I kind of went towards where they were just sitting out at first, because that's kind of the picture you sent me where they had all those beers from that one brewing company.
Yeah, well, it wasn't all from one.
Oh, it wasn't?
I was just kind of zooming in and saw that I'd like to try to get some beers from Phase 3 Brewing.
Phase 3.
From, what did I say? Starts with a Z.
Scion.
Yep, Zion, Illinois. That's where they're from now.
I mean, okay.
But yeah, I just had seen a picture off the internet that they got a bunch of beers in recently, and we were looking for some beers.
Yeah, no, that worked.
Mm-hmm. I think this is probably the first beer that I feel like I can taste what you're talking about at that micro beer kind of like filmy
Like
taste
the
or something.
after kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that has to do with like the quality of the can, or if they have like a sterilization process, or do they just come and they're like, oh, well, they're supposed to be sterile from the factory, so just throw our beer in it.
I would imagine it's probably some sort of cleaning process, or maybe it's like the lidding process or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Should have to find someone who brews beer, pick their brain.
Yeah. If you know anybody that brews beer, wants to come on the show and talk about it, shoot us an email, blueribbonloungemoline@gmail.com.
Yeah. Or you can get to us through the website too, blueribbonlounge.com.
Yep, there's a contact portion of the website. And if you want to support us at all, check out Abernathy's in Davenport or shopabernathys.com. Send them a message or something, tell them you heard about them from Blue Ribbon Lounge. They're not going to give us anything, but if you buy a Blue Ribbon Lounge sticker or something,
Yeah.
percentage of those proceeds come back to the beer fund.
True. And if you listen to us on YouTube. You can leave a comment there too.
Oh yeah, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean,
Audible.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
some sort of Google area.
Yeah. When you type in Blue Ribbon Lounge, the Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast, or Blue Ribbon Lounge podcast, pops up with all your options.
All of your many options.
Yes.
Yeah, I think actually on YouTube we're just like episode 13 and beyond. So I got to go back and see if I can get those older episodes on there, but
Okay.
not too worried about it.
And if you like our show, someone told me that if you have an iPhone and you like send someone a message or share like a Spotify thing on it, the iPhone will automatically put that into your queue or like highlight it. So when you're just going to scroll through Spotify, it'll be like, bam, Blue Ribbon Lounge.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't have an iPhone product, but
I don't either. But for people like Jason X.
yes, Justin X.
Not the serial killer.
Arguably the best out of the Jason franchise is Jason X.
Jason Goes to Space.
Yes.
Yeah. When the nanobots get him. That's, yeah.
God. All right, so meat and potatoes, Dave?
Yeah. Let's get a little more focused here.
You want to tell the people what we're doing today?
Well, we're going to talk about the 2011 Tohaku. I think that's how you say it.
Is that a haiku, Dave?
It's Tohaku. Tohoku.
Okay.
Earthquake and tsunami.
Okay.
And that's like the northeast region of Japan. It's actually, yeah, and it was a 9-point magnitude earthquake that took place 72 kilometers or 45 miles east of the Osaka Peninsula of Tohoku, the Tohoku region.
Yeah, I heard when this earthquake happened, it sent, I want to say, 100 million billion pounds of force through Japan.
Yeah.
Through invisible force, like shockwave.
Yeah, they say it's comparable to 99 million pounds of TNT or tons of TNT. And that's equivalent. I've seen two different sources, but they say that's equivalent to either 25,000 atomic bombs, but then I heard someone say 25 million. I don't know.
That's actually a big difference, but
yes.
but somewhere in there. I heard it was the equivalent to burning all of Earth's fossil fuels at one time.
Yeah, it was apparently so big that it...
How big was it?
Oh, man. I had it written down.
No, you didn't, Dave.
Yeah, I did.
How embarrassing. If you'd like to comment on Dave's lack of information, just leave a comment below.
Lack of information. It's the fact that my notes are kind of jumbled up here. No, but I'm gonna just guess. But it made the day 8 point something millionths of seconds shorter.
I heard it was 0.2 millionths.
0.2 millionths. Yeah, see, and that was the number I was trying to find. That's why I was stalling. But yeah, because it actually like
tilted the Earth's axis a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Because of how plate tectonics work, when the Pacific plate was going under the Eurasia plate, and then when the Eurasia plate bounced back, because like from the friction of the one plate going under, it kind of like pulls the other one down,
like
and then
a divot type thing.
Yeah, and then eventually like pops back up, and when it did that, it kind of like shrunk the crust of the Earth.
Oh,
kind of like if you think of like a ballerina or an ice skater spinning, and when they put their arms out, they go slower, and when they bring it in, they go faster.
Okay.
So it's like kind of constricted the Earth to make it go Yeah, 8.8 millionths of a second faster.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it did change the tilt of the Earth's axis when it happened. I had heard that when it happened now, it also has happened 3 other times, and it's between every 800 to 1200 years it happens.
Yeah, something like that. And they were saying like they didn't put it together then, but then when they were doing research back to see if Japan's ever been hit by earthquake of that magnitude, they found that span.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this one happened, they were like, oh, well, yeah, it was about time.
Yeah. I wonder if it has something to do with maybe like centripetal force or something. You know, like the Earth spins for 800 years and the plates like kind of shift out. Like when you swing a bucket on a string or whatever, it stays horizontal, and maybe they shift out, and then slowly over time something else causes them to want to go underneath each other.
Well, there's I want to say in the Atlantic Ocean there is the like I forget what it's called, but it's like lava is coming out.
Okay.
And so then it's making more crust and it's pushing it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then over in the Pacific, I might be totally wrong with that, but it's basically, and then there's the subduction zone where the North American plate and the Eurasian plate and the Philippines or Indonesian plate, that's where like it's going under. And so maybe 100 years of that friction and then making it eventually, like the Eurasian plate does that pop and pops back up.
Yeah.
And then that's when it's like earthquakes.
Mm-hmm. Like cracking your knuckle.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, like a rubber band, or like if you have like a reed or something and you're like pushing on it, it can only go so far before it pops back up.
Mm-hmm. This is a great time to interject. We're not a news podcast or a science podcast.
No.
So what we could have just said could be completely wrong, and that's okay. We just want to... We did a little bit of research. We like to talk about it, have a beer, and if it gets your guys' minds kind of turning, let us know any information you find.
Yeah. And yeah, if you get your brain turning and you get you interested about it, you can Google it, because we are literally just barstool scientists over here.
Yeah, not armchair, barstool.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like we were giving you enough knowledge that if you were at a bar and someone was like saying some shit, you could be like, actually,
yeah,
and then like at least get close enough to the truth where if they looked it up, they're like, oh shit, you're kind of right about that.
Yeah. So like for sure, March 3rd, 2011, March 11th, 2011.
Yeah.
So not for sure, not March 3rd, actually March 11th,
Yes.
2011. This earthquake created a tsunami off the coast of Japan.
Yeah. And they were saying that after the earthquake, it was such a big force that it made 500 aftershocks.
Oh, wow.
Go off. Yeah, I saw this map where they were showing the aftershocks and how the circle rippled out from it was how intense it was. And so they were like having like 6s and a handful of 7s and a lot of 5s.
Oh, my gosh.
So they were getting bombarded. And they said that when the earthquake hit, there was a geologist that happened to be in Tokyo. And when Tokyo felt it, usually an earthquake hits and it rumbles for like half a minute to a minute, that this one lasted for 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he was like, and it kept going and it seemed like forever, and everybody was just looking at each other like, is this life now? Like, is this how we're gonna live? But it was tragic because with the ensuing tsunami and everything, there was loss of life.
Oh, yeah. I heard I heard a couple of different numbers. Somewhere between 16 and 19,000 people died in Japan.
Yeah,
That's 6 times more than 9/11.
yeah, and plus there was like 6,000 injured, and there's still like close to 3,000 people missing.
Yeah, I got about 2,500 people still missing.
It was so bad that even North Korea gave money to like Koreans that were in Japan when that happened.
Yeah, there was a whole list of countries and people who gave.
Yeah.
And North Korea donated to Japan, and Kim Jong-un, is that the old one? Kim Jong-il.
Well, one of them Kim Johns.
The older Kim Jong.
Okay, the dad.
The dad gave out of his pocket to a bunch of families, a bunch of Korean families that were living in Japan.
Yeah, like up to $1 million.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's North Korea. Like,
Yeah. I also heard that when all the chaos was kind of ensuing during and after, the Japanese Yakuza actually had broken off little groups and were helping people to kind of find their way. And
yeah, and they were actually helping the police department make sure there weren't any looting or robberies or anything.
Yeah. One Japanese Yakuza leader, I don't know who it was, I heard was quoted as saying, in a time like this, there is no civilian, there is no Yakuza, there is only people. And
yeah,
it was something along those lines.
Yeah, and the tsunami and the earthquake did over $360 billion worth of damage. And for like some kind of perspective, Hurricane Katrina was only $40 billion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of like it took out like 2 Jeff Bezos or like 1 JD Rockefeller.
God, that's terrible that one person has that much money.
Yeah, he was like supposedly the richest American. Like,
he's got a tsunami's worth of money.
Yes, a 9-point tsunami. Oh, yeah, it's right there. By 1.8 milliseconds. Found in my notes. That's how short the day got. But a lot of the people, they have a name or a word called gammon. Probably pronouncing that wrong.
Probably. You pronounced it very white, so I'm going to assume.
It's Gaman.
That doesn't change how it's pronounced.
Gammon. I don't know. I'm not going to say it with an accent.
Yeah, that might sound a little racist.
But it comes from the Buddhist monks. Mm-hmm. And it's enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. And a lot of the areas up there in the Northeast, everybody was pretty calm. There are clips that you can see of people obviously mourning, but there's also clips of people just standing patiently in line for food and stuff, even though, they hadn't eaten in days.
Yeah. Yeah, I did hear a lot about that too, that it was fairly calm and stuff like that. There wasn't a lot of looting, whether it be because of the police and the Yakuza people trying to stop that or what. But yeah,
but I think they were also kind of very stoic.
Yeah, when I think of Japan or Japanese people, and I don't know if this is just maybe necessarily a good stereotype, like a positive stereotype, but I see very like stoic and traditional and very way of the samurai type thing.
Yeah, well, they were isolated for so long. I think they I always think, this might be stereotypical too, but I always think of the movie The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
And when Tom Cruise was snowed in to that village in the mountains, and then he was showing like how they just like everything they did was just so methodical and thought out, and I kind of think that's kind of how the whole society is as a whole.
Yeah, because like you said, isolated because nobody had gone there for so long, I would imagine.
Yeah. And but one of the side effects from the tsunami was people started seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
And a lot of them saw them as like just dark shadows outside of windows and things, or like at the door. But then some of them actually saw them as like real people or people that they thought were there.
Yeah. One story I heard that I thought was pretty interesting was a guy had been looking for his mother for a long time, going to all of the and maybe this doesn't necessarily count as a ghost, but like this is maybe like a more logical, scientific way how a tragedy can affect your mind. But he went to a bunch of shelters to try to find his mother, and he couldn't find her. And he finally went to one and found her, and he wanted to take a picture of her to send to the rest of his family to show that she was okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as he snapped the picture, it was like a different woman.
Yeah, kind of like when he pulled his phone down or something. It's like, oh wait, that's not my mom.
Yeah, so like what I would imagine in this instance is that like his brain was so focused on finding his mom, like the only thing that would help him was to find his mom, and so his brain maybe made him think that he did for a little while, maybe a lady that kind of looked like her.
Yeah.
And then once he had kind of like chilled down and all of his endorphins and stuff weren't running, that maybe his brain finally snapped back so that he could take the because apparently his mom ended up being a casualty of the tsunami, and maybe his brain helping him settle down from that helped him take the news of the loss of his mother.
Yeah, make him realize that she is gone.
Yeah.
But then there were reports, there was one lady who was distraught over the loss of her 3-year-old son. And one day she just like asked the son to join them for dinner. And I don't know, it didn't really explain how it is. So I don't know if it was just like in her being distraught and like pleading or whatever. But then one of his toys turned on. One that you would have to manually flip the button. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't just one that was like voice activated or something. And as soon as she heard it doing its thing, it kind of made her feel like his presence was there. And then it like kind of pulled her back out of the depression as much and made her feel like, okay, he's okay, so I can be okay.
Yeah, kind of along those same notes, Dave. There was a guy in Natsuchi, Japan, which was hit by the tsunami. It killed 10% of the population, but Itaru Sasaki had a cousin who had lost his life to cancer, and then the tsunami hit, and he was having trouble communicating his feelings and kind of just lost in the situation.
All right.
So he had bought a white phone booth and put a rotary phone in it on his property.
Yeah.
And he didn't connect it to the telephone lines, but he would use it to kind of talk his feelings out. And he said that his feelings couldn't be transmitted on a regular telephone line. So he kind of said that when he talked into this phone, it just went onto the wind, and he called it the wind phone.
Okay.
This was kind of helped a lot of people. Japanese people would come from all over the country to talk to their loved ones on this wind phone.
On the wind phone?
Yeah, and it was a lot of people who would come back multiple times. They said that the majority of the people who visited the wind phone were men, and many of them were like farmers.
Yeah.
Where it was not so common to share your feelings.
Right.
A career that's not so common to be open about things like that.
Right, because you got to be like the strong, silent type.
And like some people would come with their whole families, their children, and stuff like that. And I thought that was a beautiful story. I heard that one on This American Life, which is an NPR podcast that I listen to a lot. It's a great podcast. If you ever listen to one, check that one out.
Well, kind of in that vein of the wind phone, there was a Buddhist priest, Taio Kaneda, Taio, and he started seeing a lot of people coming to him saying that they saw ghosts, and a lot of the times he would just listen to them, and they would just kind of vent and get all their grieving out. Like people would come at like 6 o'clock at night and then stay until 1 a.m, and he would just listen to them, and then he would burn incense and say a little prayer. And a lot of people said that made him feel, a lot better. And besides seeing ghosts, he also ran into a lot of people that were saying they were possessed, or like feeling like there were spirits in their body. And there was one lady in particular, her name was Amy, that showed up, and she was saying that before the tsunami, she was like spirit sensitive, but then after the tsunami, she was just like bombarded. And like one of the stories was she felt like there was a guy grabbing her leg, like she was kind of dragging this guy with her. And when the Buddhist priest like touched her leg, the guy started screaming, and she's like, he's yelling and asking who you are, and he's like, tell him I'm a priest. And the guy was like freaking out, like, why is a priest here? Like the soul didn't want to like believe that he was dead, and was kind of like clinging on to life kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And after he said a prayer, they said exorcism, but in Shinto it's not like the Catholic exorcism where you read stuff. He just pretty goes,
people's heads spin around and puke green stuff.
Right. It was more like they do like a mantra thing, or they read some passages from their books.
Yeah.
Not 100% what they're called. And then they light some incense, and this lady came back, and she was troubled by a little girl that was running with their brother, holding his hand, and he couldn't run anymore, and she was pretty much dragging him. And then when they got hit by the wave, like she let go of him.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so like her spirit was like grieving over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he had to help like the spirit find its way.
Yeah, that's when we went kind of into this topic, when you brought it up, it was mostly about the Tsunami Ghosts.
Yes.
And I was interested in it, but what I found the most interesting was just the sheer damage that it caused. Like, well, we'll talk about a little bit of a cryptid type thing in a little bit.
Okay.
But that was the video I had sent you. I'm sure you had seen it before, but just rivers running backwards from how much force the ocean was pushing in.
Yeah.
Whole houses being picked up and moved, and cars, and like I just couldn't imagine seeing something like that.
Well, they say it's like tsunami stands for harbor wave.
Oh, you know what? I never considered that tsunami could be like, it sounds maybe Japanese.
Yeah. Well, it was coined by fishermen because they all went out, and then when they came back, their harbor was destroyed.
But they like didn't have any idea or something?
Yeah, because you could be out in the ocean and a tsunami can go by and you wouldn't even know, because anything, it's just like an extra couple feet higher. But the thing is, it's wider. Like the peak from like this wave to the next one can be like miles.
Okay.
And that, unlike the waves you see like in movies like Castaway and whatever, that's all like wind and turbulence on the top of the water. And the tsunami moves through the water, more like you were saying, like a force, kind of like how an earthquake goes through the earth.
Yeah.
So then when it gets to, it'll like suck the ocean way back. And so like you can see more of like the coastline. But then once the force gets to the coastline, pretty much the friction slows it way down, and so then the wave compresses, and so it becomes taller as opposed to wider. And so then that's, they said it was like some of the waves were 130 feet tall.
Oh my God. And I heard that was one way that in the past that they had taken so many lives, is when the water floods out, people get to see so much more of the ocean that never gets to see the light of day.
Yeah.
And so you kind of get entranced with this different portion of something that's next to you all the time.
Right.
And then when you go out there, then you get hit by this mad wave.
Yeah, because you're looking at seashells or trying to find starfish. And
Yeah. And yeah, so like the sheer force, and then just the amount of trauma that, you know, arguably people and people who are alive and dead have to come back from. You know, it seemed like so with the wind phone, that was one tool that kind of got brought up to help people deal with their own emotional trauma.
Yeah.
And then you have this priest and the story of the taxi drivers.
Yeah.
If you want to say a little bit of that.
Well, they were just a lot of the taxi drivers in the Miyagi district or like region area were finding fares where like one guy got a fare at the train station, and then the lady's like, "Hey, can you take me to this Miyagi district?" And he's like, that's not there anymore. And the lady like paused for a second and was like, "Am I dead?" And when he like turned around to look at her, like she was gone. And there's another story about a guy picking up a passenger that had a thick winter coat on, and he thought was odd. And the guy was like, "I want to go to the mountain of the region." And the taxi driver's like, "All right." And when they finally got there, like the sun had set and everything, and the guy turned around to collect his fare, and the guy was gone. And a lot of these do sound like anecdotes or stories, but you can go and look at their meters, because they would actually click their meters on and then drive to these places and then find out that no one was in their taxi. And a lot of these taxi drivers would just go ahead and pay the fare. And they thought...
And it'd be out of their own pocket.
Yeah, out of their own pocket. And, I mean, it could be an elaborate way to, like, dick off at work, but then you're still paying for it, so, like, it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, and what I had heard, the reason that a lot of them paid for the fares was that they thought that maybe it was the last thing that the spirit needed to move on to the next...
Yeah, like to help them get closure.
Closure, yeah.
Closure.
So yeah, I think that is kind of that situation, along with the exorcism of the priest, is a way for, you know, a spiritual body to
right, because all the taxi drivers said that it was never like a scary situation. It was always just like a little bit off, but for the most part, you know, kind of positive, and they're glad that they got to help in that kind of way.
Yeah. And what I thought was going to be, when you brought Tsunami Ghosts to me, I thought it was going to be like some sort of cryptid, like the video we saw.
Okay, yeah.
Did you look any more into that video?
I've seen it, but I haven't looked at like people analyzing it.
Okay. Do you want to describe what the video is, and then I can share what I had heard of people analyzing it?
Well, it's this guy filming the, I don't know where they're at, but he's filming the river.
I got that.
Okay.
I think his name was Kenichi Murakami, and it was in Kinsinuma City, and it was near the Okawa River.
Yeah, because he's filming the river, and this is one of those times when the river's running backwards, so from the coast inland, and it's just getting like, you see it slowly rise, and then you see like debris and houses, and
like a whole ass house.
Yeah, smashing into the bridge, and then it slowly comes over their like levee, and then he ends up getting in this building or on top of it.
It was like the emergency stairwell of a school.
Okay, yeah, because it was kind of like the school like playground blacktop kind of area.
Yeah, and what little of it of the building it showed, I thought maybe it was like a motel. How all the doors go to the outside, and there's a balcony. That's what it looked like to me, but a school.
Yeah, but it just like slowly fills up.
Oh yeah,
because like, yeah, the tsunami part hits the coast, but then as it comes inland, it's more like just a surge of like the water slowly just kind of builds up.
Yeah, it looked a lot. I think we were talking about it at work. It looked a lot like the levee breach in Davenport from the formerly Rome and currently Stomp Box Brewing. Their
parking lot, right?
Yeah, they had a security camera.
Yeah,
that showed their parking lot, and it was just like, it felt slow, but man, it was fast.
Right, and if you watch that and then go look at the tsunami, it's kind of the same, but just the sheer force of the water
and volume.
Yeah, and just seeing cars getting pushed by.
Yeah.
Not to veer too far away, but one guy explained it as like, after a while, it is water, but it's also all this debris. So it's almost kind of like an iceberg or like a glacier, but just of cars and wood and trees and dirt. But in this video, as he's filming everything, there's like a shed or something, and then you can see this figure like come out of the water and kind of climb over the top. But it's kind of, it's hard to explain, like those things from Kong Skull Island. Kind of like that, but not. Was it white or dark?
It was white.
It was white.
To me, it looked like a sheet.
Yeah, or
almost like a ghost. Like you'd put a sheet on and it would look like a ghost.
Yeah, kind of looked like that.
But like maybe the mannerisms of more like a creature.
Yeah, kind of climbing over. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it could be like a tarp or something. But you said people have analyzed it.
Yeah, so they did a couple of things where one guy, so they called themselves the A-Team, and I should have wrote this guy's name down because he was a little funny, and but he was very good at how he analyzed this.
Okay.
Very technical. So he sent this video to one guy, and he analyzed it for any photoshopping or like digital modification.
Right.
And there was no digital modification. The video's real.
Okay.
And then another guy he sent it to, and he was like kind of scouring the internet for other references. And he found earlier in the video, you do see the same building.
Yeah.
And it's got like kind of an awning. And so what they came up with is it must have been some sort of canister shooting a vapor out. And it was just like a thick cloud of vapor, and it kind of like gets stuck underneath this awning, which is why it kind of like creates the illusion of a body.
All right. So
And
go
then
ahead.
and then to me, what it looked like originally was like something under a sheet crawling on top of a building and going into a vent or something. But
Or-
when it bypasses this awning, it just kind of dissipates.
Okay. Because, yeah, it did look like something under kind of going over. Because I thought it, like, went over the top of the roof or something like
that's
that.
what I thought too.
But, yeah, there could be something that explodes or like a transformer or something. Because they have that ozone. They give off ozone
Yeah,
that
maybe.
pops out.
Yeah. So like if you ever, what do you call it? I can't think of a good spray, but like if you ever lit hairspray on fire,
Yeah.
you know, it has kind of a terminal length
Right.
and it's like kind of cloudy,
Yeah.
cloudy with fire. but if you were to imagine that as just the gas, and maybe it had a lot of water in it or something, maybe more of a vapor, like a liquid vapor,
Yeah.
as opposed to a clear gas.
Right. So if you think of all those hipsters that do the vaping,
Oh yeah,
and they do those like big clouds.
I do kind of like the sound of it.
Yeah, that was a neat one. I haven't really seen anything else besides that.
Yeah.
Come from the tsunami.
Yeah, but I thought that video is what I thought we were going to get into.
Okay.
And so to kind of have it turned around on me as more of a struggle from nature and man, and you know how people alive and dead cope with a situation like that.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to research that.
Yeah, and there was a Dr. Charles Fagali, and he said that ghosts, for some, are more tolerable than the void left behind by death.
Oh,
So I thought that was kind of a cool quote.
yeah, that's a super cool quote. Yeah, you'd almost you would rather have something unexplainable happen
Right.
than be able to realize that, you know, somebody's not going to be around anymore.
Yeah, and especially with so many people that are missing,
Yeah.
it's a good way to find closure or to have it.
Yeah, I would imagine even with people who didn't lose anybody, you know, it's just a sheer catastrophe.
Yes, the whole shock of it and how quick it just everything's gone.
Yeah. I guess that's one thing I didn't look up is how long it lasted.
Well, it was just the day,
Oh,
but it was kind of like,
so less than 24 hours.
yeah, but you have the initial earthquake and then you have aftershocks, and then within an hour you have a tsunami that comes and rips everything out, and then you have for like the next week or whatever, like all these little aftershocks. So then
Yeah.
even as you're trying to piece things together, you're still getting hit by like like a 6 on the Richter scale.
Yeah. And I guess that's all before you have time to clear debris and start rebuilding.
Right. And even like when you start, then you just have another earthquake. It's like trying to build Jenga and someone keeps pushing it over.
Yeah. Dave, I'm looking at you. I've played Jenga with you before, you cheater.
Yeah. I don't cheat. I just get upset. I'm like,
I just get upset. That's all I had. Did you have anything else to add, Dave?
no, that's really all I had too.
I thought that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, that's all. Anything more? Maybe outside of the topic or anything, Dave?
No, that's all I got.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I covered
listening, guys.
Everything I wanted to touch on.
Check out Abernathy's. Check out the Blue Ribbon Lounge.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Hope you guys did. And we'll see what our next one is. So I guess until next time, whatever the topic may be, you folks take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves out there.
Yeah, and remember, Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Yo. All right, see ya.
That's a 16.
That's a good one.